the reflexive verbs on the bottom of your notes, again, just want to go through those so that we're okay with the difference between one verb and two verbs. If we're to take María cepillarse and make it agree, you're technically taking away the SE, going to your pronoun box, making it agree with María. Happens to look exactly the same. So it looks like you're not doing anything. You're just moving that SC to the beginning, but you're technically making it agree. It just happens to look the same. So María se cepilla, drop your AR and conjugate it normally as you would for any other verb. So it'd just be María se cepilla los dientes. If I were to take that and do it for the yo form, I want you to see what changes. If I take that SC away, and then make it agree with the yo form, the pronoun that agrees with the yo form is me. Then you take your cepillar, drop it, make it agree with the yo form, it would be cepillo. Yo me cepillo los dientes, I brush my teeth. Okay, the teeth belong to me, so that me again doesn't really have a translation. It's I brush my own teeth is basically kind of what it's saying. There's no direct translation. But if I take that and do it with two verbs, if María needs to brush her teeth, conjugate that as you normally would, which would be what? Necesita. But then you have a second verb to deal with. You're still not going to conjugate that second verb, and you're going to take that SC away, but you're not going to do anything with the verb. You are going to make sure that the pronoun agrees. Sorry, it's not lined up right there. You're going to take away that SE. You're going to then replace it with the SC that agrees with the María. So it looks like you did absolutely nothing. That's why I want to do these for the yo form and make sure you understand that if I were to take that same sentence, conjugate it for the yo form, the yo form gets the conjugation, the first verb, necesito. Cepillar, not conjugated. The me, you're taking away the SE, replacing it with the me that agrees with the subject. So that's a regular verb, that's a reflexive verb. The verb itself not conjugated, but the pronoun you still have to make agree. Does that make sense? Okay. So I asked you to do these bottom ones here. What do we get for the first one? To ponerse la ropa. Okay. So tú te pones. The te agrees with the to form, and pones agrees with the to form. And if I were to take that same verb and conjugate it for the yo form, what would happen? Me, to agree with the yo form, and pongo is irregular. So if there's anything irregular about the verb, then you also make it irregular on the conjugation. What changes for that second one, the to? To. Now, if you have two verbs and that first verb happens to be a regular verb,
you conjugate it.
Just conjugate it. But the tricky part is, what do you do with the second verb that's a reflexive verb?
Still do what we're doing now.
Don't conjugate the poner part. Drop the SE and replace it with a te that agrees with your subject. So, tú necesitas ponerte la ropa. You need to put on your own clothes, basically. If I were to do that for the yo form, yo necesito agrees, poner not conjugated, the me does make your reflexive pronoun also agree with the subject. So that still matches, but you don't conjugate the second verb. When you're looking at your reflexive pronoun box, se is the one that's used most often. So when we run into situations like up here, María, you take away the SE and you replace it with the SC that looks exactly the same, it looks like you did nothing. Just know that se is the most common one, and that it sometimes looks like you're not doing anything, but you're still having to make your pronoun agree with your subject. Right? Susana and Jose quieren. What do we notice about this sentence? Okay, it has two verbs. The first one already agrees. What do we do with that second one? Do nothing to the verb, but
Change it.
change what?
SE.
The SE,
What's it called?
the reflexive pronoun.
So we need to change that.
Take the SE away and replace it with,
No.
it's still two people, so it's still SE. Looks like you did nothing, but you took it away, replaced it with what looks like it is the same exact thing. Okay? So if it, and again, this is why we keep changing these to the yo form. If it helps, do that same thing for the yo form. Susana and Jose go away. It would be quiero for the yo form, levantar not conjugated, then me attached at the end of the second verb. Okay? What do we get for number 2?
Me lavado.
Me lavo. Is lavar conjugated for the yo form? Me lavo.
You got it.
Drop the AR, conjugate it as you normally would.
Like the SE meaning in front of it.
For number 3, to what? Te. And this one technically has an IE change. We're going to talk more about these tomorrow. Tu te sientas. But number 4. Good. Nos divertimos. And number 5 is a tricky one on purpose. What does the sentence say?
She likes cats.
She brushes the dog. Why would you not need a reflexive pronoun?
Because it says brushes.
You only use a reflexive pronoun if the subject is doing the action to or for themselves. Okay? So, for that sentence, you would not need a reflexive pronoun. It would just be she brushes a dog instead of she brushes herself. Okay. Then if it happens to be an irregular verb here with ir, if it's irse, conjugate ir as you normally would. Just put your reflexive pronouns in front of it. I'm going to give you some homework for you to study your vocab and for you to practice some more reflexive verbs.